Hey, Roger, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can see you. That is a hell of a shirt.
Thank you.
Custom?
It has a story. What's your name?
I'm Darren.
Hi, Darren.
I've only been a fan of yours since like 96 or so. So,
Oh,
not
you're
that
newbie.
long.
Yeah, cool. It's
Yeah.
new to this, Darren. Shirt, I was playing, well, what part of the country are you in right now?
New York, the opposite of where you are, climate-wise, geographically, you name it.
Amazing. Yeah, culturally, definitely different.
You have better time.
There's a thing in Wisconsin. It's like a 30-day festival. I wish I could remember what it's called. It's just like Music Fest or whatever. And I remember Summerfest. That's the one. I remember I was super excited because we're playing the same stage as Spoon, and I'm just a dopey fan of that band.
Sure.
And they have all. Have you ever been to Summerfest?
Yeah, I went 3-4 summers to it in Milwaukee.
There are acres of vendors, like selling everything from cotton candy to swords to tattoos, whatever, Anyway, I was actually finishing sound check, and a lady came up to me and she said, "This is for you." And I was like, "Well, that's cool." And she goes, "We're from Tucson, and we come here. We do these shirts. You're from Tucson. Will you do us the honor of wearing it?" And so they made this. They had a little shop set up, and
yeah, it could either be a Rick and Morty character, or it could just be a zany person.
Yeah, or it's a Saguaro with a mustache and sombrero. I love it. I do. I'm waiting for the day that somebody goes, "Well, that it's incorrect." Like that they put that projection on me, like, "Well, that's tokenistic or diminutive or forbid racist," but it's not. It's just a cool cactus with a mustache and a hat.
So those are big words you just used there. So color me impressed. And
I don't want to do that.
Well, recapping what I know about you, you first found success on an international level with the Refreshments. I didn't say the Replacements, which I'm sure hundreds of journalists have stupidly said over the years.
It's happened. We knew we were going to step into that trap when we named our band so close to the Replacements. We were all fans.
Sure.
Nobody ever thinks they're actually going to go very big, so that's why everybody names it terrible things. Nickelback, Exhibit A.
Yeah, supposedly the Nickelback story is that was what he said when he was working the register at Starbucks. Like, here's your Nickelback. I don't know if that's true, but either way, that's their problem, not yours.
Just bad enough to make sense.
So, of course, the Refreshments had the theme to King of the Hill, which everyone in the world has heard, but not everyone realizes that's your band. Then you were kind of solo, but continue to find success there. You wrote a couple of books. You have Canción. Do you like how I say that, or is Canción?
You're in New York. I'll take it however you can figure it out. It's Canción. That's how I say it, but you say it however you want.
Yeah,
What books did I write? I don't know about those books. Your bio might be a little off.
I've read somewhere that you were an author, and maybe that is a mistake, so we'll scratch that. But the tequila.
Yeah, we do have the tequila brand.
You have 4 varieties on the market. You're sold in 10, 11 states, I believe, at this point in time. What came first, the idea for having the tequila or the brand name?
Do you want the long story or the short story or short answer?
I've got all the time and all the interest, so whichever you please.
When the Refreshments, even before we were noticed by the record companies, we had bartenders telling us, like, whatever you drink, they drink. And I was drinking a lot of tequila. So we began sort of I love tequila. I grew up with it. The Refreshments fans just started drinking it now. And that became sort of part of our culture, almost a character, almost a song. It's part of our show. This day probably don't get away without at least 3 shots in a 2-hour performance. Any more than that, and I can't see the set list very well. But we'll fast forward to 2002 when a distillery in Tequila, Mexico, where tequila is made, approached us, and their representative said, "We've been doing our research, and you guys, this was Roger Clyne The Peacemakers, the Refreshments, already broken up, but the cult of tequila had moved forward. approached us. We're in a van in a little place called Spaceland in Los Angeles. I remember having this meeting with him, and he said, we've done our research, and your band sells more tequila per capita in the United States than any other artist. Wow, that's a cool little piece of information to hang your hat on, especially when we just played to 150, on a Wednesday in Los Angeles. And he said, so what we're interested in is doing your own offering through La Cofradía. And I was like, well, that's cool. That could be really fun. So we got into the discussion, and it turned out we wouldn't have any input into the recipe, and we wouldn't have any input really into the marketing. And then there was a buy-in to be, I guess, the ambassadors, celebrity ambassadors. And it just didn't, the boot didn't fit very well. But the bug got in my ear. I was like, wonder if in this day and age when no music is actually selling, like CDs were going down, digital music was stealing everything. Wow, I wonder if we should make a retirement fund out of tequila. Got to thinking about it. Lo and behold, fast forward another couple of years, and I was approached by a member of our board, actually now. He said, hey, let's pick up that discussion about tequila, and found Mexican moonshine. And that happened in about 2004. And we went to a distillery, which is our distillery now, La Fábrica de los Tequilas Finos. I realize this is a long story, but you asked for it.
No, I'm interested, and there's places to go from here. So keep the interesting stuff coming, Roger.
Bueno. I hope it's interesting. I can see people tuning out already, falling asleep, drooling, whatever.
Well, let's pause it there. Something interesting about you.
We found the distillery that would allow us to make the expression that I wanted to do. We named it Mexican Moonshine after the song on Americano, and went from there. And those were our first baby steps. And now, yes, we have 4 marks on the market. We have Silver, Reposado, Añejo, and Extra Añejo. And I can tell you all about them, but let's move on to a different subject if you wish.
Well, I still want to talk about the tequila. I would say that the first celebrity tequila, yes, I'm calling you a celebrity. You're going to shake that one off. But
I'll take it.
Anyone who's been doing live appearances for decades is, for better or for worse, a celebrity. People pay to see you, you're a celebrity. So the first celebrity tequila that I think most people learned about was Sammy Hagar's and Cabo Wabo and all that, which has evolved into different stuff, and he shifted more towards mezquila and all that.
Just had a discussion with him yesterday. He gave me notes on how to approach our offering, and he's been very helpful.
So that's where I was going to go with that. So in the case of Sammy, he's known to be very collaborative with other musicians. So I was wondering if you had known him as a musician before you connected with him in the spirits world.
Yes, as a matter of fact, we opened for Sammy Hagar here in Phoenix. I'm in Phoenix, or Tempe now, at a big outdoor show. And his manager approached me and said, that was a good fit. Can you guys come on the road? Why should you guys come on the road with us? It was totally one of those, tell me what you can do for me, kid. And I was like, well, we're a rough and ready rock and roll band. We travel in a van. We could set up and tear down in 45 minutes. We'll give people what they want and won't overshadow your artist. And he was like, where do I send the dates? Anyway, so I got to meet Sammy on that tour, and we moved from opening to actually, I wouldn't say co-headlining, but since Leonard Skinner they had some issues, and King's X was also supposed to be on that bill, but all those bands had some problems. So it just became Sammy and us. I got a lot of time with him, and I will say he's a gracious, intelligent, very giving person. But was I connected with his music? Shamefully, yes, but I was a punk rock kid, and he was the antithesis of what kind of music I like. So he was sort of a target for me. So when I got the information, you can come open a tour with Sammy, I was like, I thought we were kind of antithetical to that, but we found a way. Rock and roll is larger than I am, and we worked our way in and garnered some fans to that tour. Well, and now I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the man and his music.
As a huge fan of Van Halen, the original Van Halen was all about Jack Daniels. And then once Sammy came in, it became all about a tequila thing.
Yep.
What was your spirit of choice before tequila became everything?
Tequila. It was, I grew up, I'm 3rd generation rancher from Arizona. And back in the day before the border was all ballyhoo, we could go, it was porous, and we and the Mexican people could help each other out with roofing, gathering cattle, branding, etc. I remember where I was the first time I ever had tequila, and I was probably 11 years old, behind the barn for lunch, tying up the horses with a couple of vaqueros who didn't speak English, and they pulled this bottle out of their saddlebag and took hits off of it, and I got to have a cigarette with these men, you know, and like, aquí está, you know, trágala. And I was like, wow. And that was tequila. And it's just kind of always been at the ranch. It's just, you know, Clyne Ranch and Peacemakers beverage of choice. So before it was everything, I was already in its embrace.
That's so interesting to me because as an East Coaster, I think that people were still only drinking tequila for shots until maybe 8 years ago. It wasn't known as a sipping kind of drink. Yet you, from a young age, knew that it was a sipping drink, apparently.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to vilify any brand, but the tequila that you and I experienced in college, I mean, I'm probably older than you are, was not 100% blue agave. The stuff that was readily available to the American market was definitely a cut tequila, probably 51% actual blue agave juice and 49% lo que sea, who knows, right? Anyway, that was the stuff that like a lot of people grew up on and making all those mistakes, you know, like falling asleep on the pool table, getting in a fight, throwing up in the lobster tank. Everybody does that, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't, I got to give credit where credit is due. Patron reintroduced to the American market what tequila has always been to Mexico, which is a more elegant, highly representative of the culture, very proud, very well crafted spirit. And whereas you can mix it, it is just fine, and it's my preference to actually sip it. So that's the heritage that we followed with what's called Canción now.
And Canción, 100% blue agave, correct?
100% all the time. Yep, no mixtures, no nothing. Valle agaves, organic, double distilled, triple filtered. Our distiller removes in the process fusel oils, aldehydes, methanols, ketones, which are the primary architects of hangover. I mean, alcohol is not easy on the body, but those things are much worse. And so it's a very, very clean expression.
Are you finding at this point in time with the brand's growth that some of the people who buy it regularly don't even know that you're a musician?
I hope so. That would be a really great bridge to be able to cross, you know, that our tequila would stand without what you have dubbed our celebrity. That would be fantastic. Then our tequila would be into its adolescence and beyond its infancy. We originally introduced it to the fan base, and we found that became a little bit limiting. Whereas I love the name Mexican Moonshine because it's named after a song. We found it created beyond the fan base with creating obstacles. Like it's an ultra premium expression, and so when we were trying to get it into higher end places and impart the culture of this is a sipping tequila, you know, you can mix it if you wish. Nobody could get beyond the word moonshine. And so beyond the Peacemakers fan base, we could not get anybody to try it out. Now, I will say we'll go back to 2004, or roughly when our inception was. And when we came to market, actually it was after 2004, but there were no corn liquors available as moonshine, legal moonshine in the United States. And now there are several. So there evolved a confusion that we had to steer clear of. But like if people now hear or understand that, they've never heard of Roger Clyne and the Peacemakers, but become Canción fans, I think that's a really good stage in our evolution.
And one thing that you were ahead of the curve on, in my opinion, was doing your own festival as an artist. Nowadays, everyone has their own cruise. Like, hey, you had one gold record, you can have a cruise. And you did that way before that. So yeah, do you see long-term with your tequila, its own festivals or presenting its own festivals and things of that nature?
Yes, and I wish I could say that I had enough acumen or genius to create that future, but that's not the way it went. Our quote unquote festival now in Mexico, which does attract 5,000 people to 20 venues to see 30 artists every first weekend in June, is now a festival. But it started out with me getting in a van and going down to Rocky Point, Mexico, and knocking on doors at these bars and asking if we could play. And people had down there, even the expats were like, refreshments, I thought you guys broke up, you know? Yeah, but now I got a new band. Well, that didn't really fly very well until I met one guy who said, I don't have a stage, but I got a roof and I can put some pallets up there for you guys to stand on, and I'll throw up some extension cords. That was 1999 in October, and that's where it began. We had very little promotional lead time, maybe 10 days, but 175, 200 people showed up. Sound check turned into a 5-hour, you know, very boozy performance, and that's where the first seed was planted and the legend began. And now it's very different. And Canción is a presenter, and a co-marketer in that, and we have so much fun. But that had to go from my rock and roll hands into the hands of real like event planners and stuff. And so the growth didn't just come from the music. It was through a lot of many hands helping to make this thing happen.
That sounds like a commonality between your music and your spirits related work, where Fun Thing turns into a niche, Skeptics grow it, becomes an industry on its own. Happened in both of those, even though they're very different worlds.
Yeah, without the Skeptics, you don't have the necessary resistance to develop strength, and resolve. So, it's tough in the moment to hear sometimes the criticisms of parts of the public, but if you take the right tack, it's a strengthening element. So yeah, Skeptics. Thank you.
Well, 2 quick questions, and then you're a free man. And the first one may not actually be so quick, and that's now.
You haven't heard me do a quick answer yet, have you?
I think I have. There are some things I said, and then you responded with a question back to me. That's pretty quick.
All right, cool.
What is your name? Where are you dialing in from? Like, those are quick question responses.
10-4. I should know those. If I don't, then there has been damage done.
Well, so now that you have this spirit brand, some people say, I found this. Now I want to expand to another spirit or a food line or something like that. Is that in the cards for you, or is it just one big growth at a time?
One little growth at a time. No, this is our baby. This is, our, this is the band's retirement fund. We can't do it on music anymore because it's become just a marketing tool. So it's tickets, t-shirts, and tequila, which are all very, very palpable offerings. And so we're gonna treat this very, very carefully and grow it the right way, very organically, and keep it in the family. As I say that, I realize that there's a voice in my ear saying, well, you have a cantina down in Mexico. And that is, we do have a little hut that's called Banditos, named after a refreshments hit. But it's just a place for us to be able to rent the sand lot next door, and so we can have our big festival and enjoy tacos and beer and Canción with our fan base. So I guess, no, I don't have any plans on making like frozen burritos or anything. We're just going to take care of what we've got right now.
Frozen burritos, awesome.
Whatever, Jimmy Buffett went kind of nuts, and I was like, oh, I can get a Jimmy Buffett egg roll right now if I go to the frozen food aisle.
Well, he's in the casino world too. That's some real high shooting right there when you have an Atlantic City casino named after you. But
that's a big deal. I'm not sure I'd be comfortable wearing those boots, but hopefully the future is wide open.
Totally. And my last question for you, what's a TV recommendation you could pass on to someone who needs a new show to start?
Oh man. I've watched so many during the shutdown when we weren't touring that they're all like one big mashup. There's everything from Vikings to Startup to, I don't know, what am I watching right now? They just, let me get one. There have been some that I loved. I freaking loved Ozark, but I think that everybody's seen it. There's going to be another season. I shouldn't like Yellowstone, but I do. Like those people have everything and they're always unhappy. I'm just like the average Joe. I pretty much just whatever they're putting in front of me on Netflix, I get a margarita and enjoy it. But Startup, Yellowstone, Ozark. There's a really funny one called Norseman, which is a parody of Vikings that I like. But anyway, those have been my comfort food for the last 15, 16 months.
The man has.
I wish I could say I had something that was more like socially aware or world shaking, but
no,
I don't.
Not expected, not needed.
There's actually a show regarding stewarding grasslands called Kiss the Ground, which is very educational, and it's pertinent to me and my family because we're ranchers, and so we're listening to the knowledge that's coming through it to be restorative and part of the process of healing and not the problem. Anyway, that's what I got.
That's better than what I thought you were about to say. I thought you were about to say it's called Kistery Volume 1, and it is an 82-part.
I wish I was that hip.
Well, Roger, thank you for your time. Thank you for the many years of great music, and looking forward to seeing you live in New York when the time comes again.
I too. Thank you. Let's have a beer together and maybe a shot at that Canción if we can get it in your state.
Paltrocast.